Hello, my name is Wenqi Glantz. I'm a software architect from Aris Global, a life science company. I'm very honored to be here today to give a talk titled "Learning by Blogging." So I wanted to, briefly talk about my journey. I've started blogging on Medium about 2 years ago. So since then, I have published 61 articles. So I just wanted to share my experience and the benefits I have received through this journey. So my because I'm in software design and development, I've been in the industry for over 20 years. So I have quite some experience in lots of areas. From microservice development to serverless development, and also dev secure ops. Lately is a large language model application development, and testing frameworks and so on, programming in general. So over the years, for us technical people, we solve a problem, and one of my habit I like to do is just to write down my technical notes. Because I know after some period of time, I will forget for the detailed solutions that I implemented, especially something extremely technical. And, a month or 2 months later, if I go back or try to remember what exactly I did, a lot of times I can't remember all the details. So I started having this habit of writing down my notes, it's called technical notes or step-by-step instructions and so on. So when I left my last job and I decided to start blogging because I felt those notes could really help other, in the open source community as well. That was the beginning of it. And I love it because really, so I love learning. So learning is one of the things that I enjoy doing, and really blogging, it has become my hobby. So over the last 2 years. So I want to talk a little bit about why I blog. So obviously, as I mentioned, the tech notes for myself, that's one of the main reasons. Believe it or not, actually, I blogged not the main reasons, not for the open source community, although it is a side effect, the secondary reason, but the main reason is really for myself, to compile kind of a library or reference list. So a lot of times I refer to my own blogs just to check out the details. And so that is one main reason. And also I wanted to seek feedback from the open source community on certain things, areas that I was venturing into, especially, for example, from the beginning of this year, I started a series, 5-story series on DevOps self-service model. So this model has been recently adopted by my company, and we're all learning and trying to figure out how best to do it. So I started to put together a framework and, working with my team and leading this initiative. But I realized that this is actually, I wanted to put together, in blog format with 5 different parts, all different aspects, and, publish and put it out there and see what kind of feedback, whether people can help me improve, or, I welcome all sorts of, comments. So I realized I got a lot of positive feedback. And so that really affirms that I was on the right track. So that's another main reason why I blog. And the other part is I just love writing. So in the beginning of the year, also, I started to think about what do I want to accomplish this year. I thought about doing the cloud certificates because, end of last year, I did one AWS Solution Architect Associate and also HashiCorp. So wonderful, learning experience. So I was wondering, should I get more or should I blog more? So at that time, I wanted to bring up, I call him my blog mentor, but Alan Helton. He's one of the most prolific writers, bloggers on Medium in the tech area. So I read one of his articles. He was talking about consistent blogging, the importance of that and the benefits of that. So I decided to give it a try and, just to put down my, because what I did, I started to do all this certification study, like in the evening, after work, I started doing that and ended up finding myself started to, blog. From whatever I learned through that week or that particular day, I just wanted to write down, and I opened up my Medium, started writing again. So I started studying my certificate and ended up still writing my blogs. I figured, you know what, I wanted to just put down the study for the certificate for now, focus on the blogging. because that's what I really kind of love doing. When I sit down at my desk after work and besides studying, and I wanted to summarize, and especially, I do a POC, develop some, new with a new framework and so on, and I just really feel wanted to jot down and share with the community, and I learn from others as well. So that's really the very reason why I blog. And then how I blog, I wanted to also talk a little about it. How I blog is right now, I'm trying to publish, one article per week. So by usually around the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those 3 nights, I focus a lot on those, putting together the article. So Friday night, I usually just scope my ideas, what kind of topic I wanted to write, focus on. And then I explore it. And I would always usually, for us technical, in this field, we would always develop a POC, proof of concept kind of application. And once that works, we know, this particular new framework or new area that I investigated, researched, and it can you really put to use and build it. And then step-by-step instruction, I like to put it down and share with the community. So recently, really, because of, generative AI space has been evolving so rapidly, and wonderful frameworks that are, showing up, one of which is called Llama Index. And I have been learning, studying, and working on POCs and just exploring it. It is so fascinating. Together with Lanqian, and also, on the data side, I've been looking at the Snowflake as well. So it's just a really awesome, products and tools and libraries out there that we can utilize on our day-to-day in our work. So I wanted to stress the importance of consistency, consistent blogging. Why is that so important? So in the first year of my blogging, I actually did, once in a while. Okay, so sometimes once a month, sometimes, maybe twice a month or something. It was not really a main focus of mine. So until I heard from Alan that consistent blogging is really the key in many ways, and I trusted him, and I really was so happy that I did it this way. So starting the beginning of this year, I started to do it consistently. Sometimes I admit it is challenging because you have family vacation, and sometimes you're trying to catch up with work deadline and so on. So it could get challenging, but try to push through that if possible. And if, don't sweat over it too much either. So if you really cannot deliver one article for a particular week for whatever reason, that's okay. Not like the showstopper. So just do the best you can. And another trick that I kind of find interesting, helpful, is that when I have time, I would like to, just to put together a few drafts in my draft list. And then when I don't have time, I can just go to my draft list, refine a few, and, they're ready for publish. So that actually worked for me in one of my vacation trips that there was just poor internet connection that I couldn't even get it down. So, and then I found one from my previous, draft list and refined a little and was able to publish next to match, sort of meet my goal. And obviously the other consistent blogging, the reason is to sort of, work with the algorithm. Medium has this algorithms that you kind of, reward the consistent bloggers. So those are all kind of little tips or tricks, if you will. So I really would, highly encourage, because in the technical field, a lot of great engineers, architects out there, but a lot of them, plenty of wonderful bloggers there as well, that's for sure. But I know, at times people are kind of a little shy from putting their work out there. But I really would highly encourage, if you're sort of on the fence of whether I should do it or not, I highly recommend you do it. Give it a try, even though it might, start with slow audience and slow attention and so on. That's quite all right. Give it some time, and really don't think too much about, your work is being viewed by the whole public community. But really think about your work. You are, your first audience. So you are writing for yourself, to record your learning journey. So that it will be, I think, a very good motivation. Sort of, I believe a lot of the engineers, they're already like making notes. A lot of technical problems once resolved, right? You want to sort of write them down. So if you just polish that notes a little and put it out there and start gradually, don't even think about how best to attract audience. No, they will come once you put quality content out there. So just focusing on learning and crafting it, and then just to put it out there and give it a try. So that's my little 2 cents. And I think the best thing I did in my career really is started this blogging journey, and I would not stop it, and I would continue on learning, especially now in this ever-changing landscape of technology, with so much happening in generative AI space. So try to set up a little goal once every week to put together something. Focus on one small little area, whether it's the whatever you learned through that week, through your work, or through reading other bloggers on Medium. Yeah, of course, you get this daily digest into your inbox. That is also extremely valuable. And I learned so much from other bloggers. And the very reason why I joined in the beginning was because I was doing research in my, technical problems to solve. And usually I always find the most reliable answers from Medium bloggers. So that was why I just love Medium from so many years of, researching, doing a lot of designing and development and architecting. So and there's no doubt this is the most kind of comprehensive hub for a lot of great technical articles. So I welcome those who are thinking about step up and contribute, and we all share what we learn and grow together as a community. So that's from my side. So I welcome any questions you guys have. Okay, I see here Q&A. Yeah, I like that. You are your first audience. Yes. Right. Yeah, as a proof of concept application, I found that, especially when you start learning a particular new topic, like for example, last weekend, I started to explore a Snowflake native apps framework. So that's, I've never done it before, and I only read a little bit, here and there. And I know, starting this, it was announced that the Snowflake Summit in the end of June of this year that they have made it public preview for AWS, Snowflake native apps frameworks. I started exploring and did a POC, and it was so wonderful because reading it is one thing, studying it is one thing, but when you have hands-on and to do a POC and see your application up and running from the provider account to the consumer account, and then you really realize, oh my goodness, this is absolutely incredible framework. So that's one of the things I love about doing POC. So just keep on going. Yeah, note taking is definitely important. That's like second nature for us tech folks out there. Yeah, viewing it as something more than a hobby is what I found is key to consistency. Absolutely. Yeah, it's really, when you think about it, just enjoy what you do. A lot of times, sometimes we observe people in our circle. You can easily tell when you're passionate about something, right? It's just it becomes your hobby, and you put your heart into it, and then you're the one that reaps the most benefit, because you learn so much by drilling into something and learning thoroughly, and then in turn you convey to whether your coworker or the open source community. So that alone is the most rewarding. I've found just keep on doing that, and that's awesome. Yeah, so any questions, you feel free to add to the Q&A area. Let me see if there's any here. Oh, okay. Sorry, I see a few. Can you repeat the concept which you mentioned that you are developing with snowflakes? I did not hear clearly what that means. Okay. Okay, yeah. So Snowflake is a data cloud. So Snowflake is sort of like the data warehouse, and many companies use Snowflake as the their data warehouse to host their data. So I've been recently exploring Snowflake and combining that with Llama Index, which is a large language model framework to allow us to do data processing and so on, and incorporate with the large language model. So that is kind of the area, bordering both areas. One is generative AI, and the other is with data cloud. So that is what the Snowflake is. So okay. Okay, so what do you consider as quality writing? Do you write for a specific audience in mind? Yes, yes, absolutely. So in my case, because I'm heavily focused on technology, I'm a software architect and I've been in software development for 20 plus years. So I do write a lot of technical stuff. I share my blogs with my husband or with my in-laws or with my family. They said, well, you're speaking Chinese to me because you don't understand the depth of, the technical aspect of it. So I do have a specific audience who are, developers, engineers, architects in the IT field. So yes, thank you for clarifying. How do you come up with writing ideas weekly? Okay, great question. So what I do is, really social media has been such a wonderful resource. LinkedIn and Twitter, I found Twitter to be so wonderful because when you follow certain key people, folks in the circle, in the industry. For example, for Llama Index, I go ahead and just follow the co-founders and also founding engineers, and people working along that line. And for example, for Snowflake, I follow the senior product specialists or product managers who are in charge of certain product. And also I used to work in Spring framework for Java development. Spring Boot, for example, I follow, particular, the so-called the rock star in the community. So in the open source community, we totally, those names are like force developers are just totally very well-known names. So when I follow those people and you follow their tweets, and then, certain things start to come up, like AWS, for example, follows the serverless development, the engineer there, and sort of new releases, they will always tweet out, and I'll be notified, and I'll be interested if something that pertains to me and to my work or to the areas that I'm interested in, I would explore. So there is no lack of topics really in this day and age, so much development going on. It evolves so quickly and rapidly. And so it's just a matter of you have sort of put together a small list kind of in your brain or write down. And then I usually just, Friday evening is the time I kind of sit down and start to look around and just sort of figure out which topic I would be focusing on, and then start my POC from there onward. So that's usually how I do it. Yeah, social media is a totally big resource that has provided tons of resource for my learning, and I deeply appreciate it. Yeah, where do you blog? Yes, Medium. Medium is the sole place I blog, actually. So I was approached multiple times by different, paid companies to be the guest blogger and so on. But I learned that they actually do take the rights away, and they do pay much better. But I realized I do not want to give my rights away. So I continue to stay on Medium because I've started to build, a good following, and I really love the platform. And I mostly love, the variety of quality stories on Medium. So there's no way I will, look in other places, because it's, takes time to build audience. And if you've already built a good following, why not just stay and be consistent? So I feel I'd rather invest my time and energy in producing quality content than, hopping around and figuring out where to go. So for us, engineers, we love what we do. And a lot of times the money is not, don't use that as an incentive. And also just to really be honest about the content, to focus on the quality of the content, I feel is so utmost important, because you get so much reward out of your own research, your own honest work. And I know a lot of people out there, they also do kind of, what do you call it, baiting. They have a real attractive title, but when you look into the content, they're really kind of pretty empty. So that is, I feel sad, just don't even waste your time or energy on those type of stuff. So just focusing on producing quality content, and you learn and you teach others as well. So it's a win-win situation. And the money part, don't even worry about it. I feel that's like the least important. You have good content, and the followers will come, and the readership will go up. So just focus, putting the right focus. I feel that is the most important. Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to bring it up. Good. So far, yeah, these are the questions. Yeah, this is my first experience, giving this talk. So I apologize if kind of a little bit incongruent, but yeah. Yeah, when talking about the quality of the content, I also wanted to mention a little about, just let me actually go to chat, have a little, see if there's more question there. Yeah, Twitter definitely seems concise in my experience. Okay. Okay, I appreciate some of the comments. Thank you guys very, very much. Yeah, I noticed some of the the Twitter accounts, they have so up-to-date developments in their development of their, whether it's framework or a particular technology stack. So that has become almost the unofficial the following that we have to, we cannot sort of ignore that, because it's just packed with such wonderful gems out there, so that it's ready to be explored. One other thing I wanted to also mention is that a lot of times when we first approach a particular new technology, for tech folks, right? So I would recommend to go right to the source. What does that mean? So you go right to the person who created that particular framework or library or whatnot. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out, connect with that person on LinkedIn and follow him or her on Twitter. And if there's any question, reach out. You will be surprised that some of them are just so responsive and so helpful. In the case of my experience with Llama Index, I was really so honored and flattered to be able to, any little question I have, I reach out to the creator of that framework, Jerry Liu, and I just benefited so much from learning from him. And so sometimes don't be shy, just feel free to reach out. I think, a lot of times people ask, even like one of the issues with Snowflake that I was exploring, I was told, like, how did you find that out? I said, I just, reached out on LinkedIn, the particular product manager who's in charge of the product. The person I was talking to, wow, how do you do that? It's well, don't be shy, for doing that, because the modern social media has made the world really flat in the way that we have access to people that usually would be out of our reach. But now it's just a matter of connection on LinkedIn or following on Twitter or other social media platform, and then reach out to them and ask questions that you're sincerely kind of puzzled, and obviously you can search online as well to find answers. But if you really cannot, then highly recommend you reach out to those creators. And these are wonderful, great resources that you can learn from. And so just highly recommend that. It's not like, I would not really say it's sort of part of networking, but it's also an honest pursuit of the truth about certain technology that you wanted to know, you wanted to explore. So definitely feel free to reach out. I find it in my own experience, with serverless, for example, AWS Lambda serverless development, I had one particular question. And then one other thing I wanted to mention also, when you start networking on social media through LinkedIn or Twitter, and those networking, those people will connect you with other experts in the particular area. In the case of, I was exploring serverless. So I first reached out to a Spring Boot key contact, and then he actually connected me with the head of, the chief engineer of that particular area at AWS side. So it's awesome. So, this type of connection just started to snowballing, and then what you find is you get the most, up-to-date, accurate information that you need to experiment with whether your POC or your work assignments and so on. So just to really feel it's just such a wonderful community, through this Medium again is a wonderful platform. Reach out to follow those people that write such wonderful content. And then I usually, when I follow them, and if I have a question regarding the article, and obviously, we cannot message them directly on Medium, so I would find their LinkedIn profile and, follow and connect, and then ask questions there or Twitter. So just really use all those platforms to the best knowledge we can to help, us to grow. So, okay. See if there's any more questions coming in. Okay, yeah, there's. Have you had experience with attempting to meet with professionals who do not always welcome questions, or perhaps do not have? Yes, absolutely. I mean, do not have time to respond. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, there are definitely times I reach out and no response. That's okay. Don't get discouraged because of that. Keep on trying. And I find a lot more people there, more than welcome, like our questions than those who don't respond. So obviously, for good reasons, they probably just totally overwhelmed or busy. So that's fine. Sometimes it might take them time to respond, but keep on trying. If you find one particular person don't respond, may find the co-founder or whoever in that circle just to respond. There was good people that will definitely respond to you. Okay, there's another one. I greatly respect Medium as a platform up till recently, if not free anymore, to view and read articles, correct? What do you suggest in order to remain part of the Medium community without paying annual fee? Okay, so this one, I have some thoughts, okay? So the Medium annual fee, I personally found is the best investment I invest for my learning and growth professionally. Why? Because it's like, of course, $50 a year. And you think about nowadays, those technical books, one book costs more than that. So, but you have, this media annual fee, you pay that, and you get so much out of it. I would honestly highly recommend, you invest in that little bit of money, and you will be surprised, you'll be amazed at the quality content that you receive and you can tap into. So I know, like people don't want to pay fee and, try to get free access. That is fine. There are models out there, I suppose, but I really feel for Medium and also for writers, right? So they spend a lot of time and effort. And so, this annual fee does help to reward those writers as well, bloggers as well. So I would definitely highly recommend, invest in that annual fee and tap into the unlimited resource that Medium offers. It's well worth it. You'll see. And especially in this day and age, really you buy a good book costs like $50. So that's my thought. Yeah. Okay, my time is up actually. So any further questions, feel free to raise. Otherwise, I think we should terminate the session, I suppose. Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah, thanks. Okay, thank you all. Bye-bye.